Trump administration is now scrambling because yet more terrible economic numbers have come out showing that things are bad and getting worse. And so Howard Lutnick, who I do not envy his job in this administration, is sent out to try to make things look better than they are. Take a look.
August 1st, we make the deal with all these countries, right? So now everybody knows their tariff, right? So now you're going to see factories get built in America at a scale that you have never seen before. Okay, more than $10 trillion of factory builds coming. All right, and so there's huge amount of construction jobs. So I would say the first quarter of next year will be the best quarter of construction jobs this country's ever seen. And that's going to roll all the way through 26. So I think you're going to see GDP growth next year over 4%.
You do, 4%. 10 trillion over what period of time, Secretary?
Mr. Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, during his term. We negotiate. It's got to build it while we're watching you. Saying you're going to build it in 5 years? Come on, how's that help us? So President Trump's going to get these builds now, and you're going to see GDP growth even before the factories open, because construction jobs are amazing.
Everything's great. It's already great. It's going to be even greater. We're in a golden age, and the age that's coming is even goldener. And maybe it will be. Maybe that's true. Maybe those $10 trillion in supposed investment will actually come about. I mean, I know that the 10 trillion is a totally made up number. Even the publicly stated ones are like less than half that. And Mark Zuckerberg notably was caught on a hot mic saying, hey, I wasn't sure exactly how much we were supposed to say to Trump, because all of this is just fun and games or whatever. But maybe it's true. Maybe things will get better. But isn't it convenient that Howard Lutnick is now coming out and basically acting as if you can't be mad about bad economic numbers now because it's not really the Trump economy, like 8 months into his term. And he's the same guy that back in July of this year said GDP just surged to 3% and the Trump economy has officially arrived. Apparently it arrived for a visit, because it left shortly thereafter and we don't know when it's going to return. At a certain point though, the buck has to stop with your administration and you have to own the results. So for instance, we're gonna take a look at the US Consumer Price Index, where things are once again getting more expensive. And while inflation jumped up during the pandemic and stayed that way and started falling eventually, and from 2023 into 2024, it's going down, going up, but trending down overall, it is now ticking back up. And overall in August, consumer prices rose 0.4%. Annual inflation rate was 2.9%. Hourly earnings slowed, a real inflation adjusted hourly earnings slowed to 0.7%. That's the lowest gain in more than a year. And he talked a lot about construction jobs. In the last reporting, we lost construction jobs in America. It wasn't even a small increase. And I want to jump to graphic 5, because this is where people feel it, which is the cost of things they buy every day. A lot of people believe the election was determined by inflation of consumer goods and the things you need to buy. Well, they're going up once again. The price of a pound of beans to consumers went from $7.02 in January to nearly $9. It's the biggest increase this century. And across many different product areas, we're seeing these increases. Sewing machines, fabric, and supplies are up 9%. Jewelry up nearly 7%. Women's outerwear 4.5%. Instant coffee 5%. Tomatoes 4.5%. Beverage materials up almost 3%. Bananas up 2%. I saw, what was it? Lettuce or tomatoes were up 30%. Steak is at an all-time high. I mean, yeah, it would be great if in a couple of years factories are made, but for now, people have to eat. They can't really put that off until the end of Trump's first term. And so, I don't know, I think people are really hurting, Woz. What do you make of it?
There's no there. This is all just funny money and funny numbers. In order for businesses to plan out for the future, they have to know that there's gonna be some stability within our trade policies towards our biggest trade partners, like, I don't know, India, Korea, Japan, Mexico. Like, there needs to be a certain level of like consistency so that they can make plans for the future of their business. Like, you can't operate in an environment where the president just does whatever he wants whenever he feels like it with no rhyme or reason. And there haven't been any real incentives for people to quote unquote reshore or onshore these factory jobs that have been leaving for 5 freaking decades at this point. And so, yeah, it's not surprising that they're like, no, this isn't the Trump economy. Kick the can, like that. This is what they're gonna have to do. But the problem for them is that in real time, people do go to the grocery store, people do go to the pump, people are being squeezed, and that's not even to mention stuff like rent and other costs associated with just living your freaking life. And so it's almost like the Biden thing all over again, where the Dems and their consultants and their top economists are like, "What are you idiots talking about? The economy's going great. You should be thankful for Joe Biden's economy." And real everyday people like, I'm not feeling this GDP growth. I'm not feeling this growth in the stock market. My life has actually become way more expensive. And I think Trump is dealing with the exact same issue, and it's not going to change.
Yeah, I think you're right to point out. I think we're actually gonna end on this story. I'll also throw out electricity prices going up too. That really hurts people. Everybody go watch our video.
Thanks, AI.
On that. Exactly, as if we didn't need enough reasons to be mad about AI. They're gonna make you lose your job and then not be able to turn on the lights. And so you're right. So there's a similar thing happening now as happened under Biden, which is not expressing understanding and empathy. And while we might have expected that under Biden and didn't get it, I don't even expect it under these people. Now they're like, any administration is gonna lie and be like, things will be better later. They all do that if things are going badly. The thing that makes this, I think, worse though, is that like Biden at least could think or try to convince people, we were in the pandemic, there's supply chain issues, things are getting better, not fast enough, but they're getting better. These price increases, Trump just decided to do them. He just said we're gonna have tariffs. It's not like an inevitable thing. This didn't have to happen. Coffee didn't just randomly go up by 25%. He chose to put 50% tariffs on Brazil to protect Bolsonaro. By the way, how did that work for you? And so, look, maybe people don't know that. Maybe a lot of people don't understand the tariffs or understand how they contribute to prices. But if they understand that, like if the midterm ads are really good, like it is one thing for prices to go up. It's another thing for the prices to go up because the president doesn't understand how like economic policy works and he just chooses to raise them. Like if you're not expressing empathy and you're the guy who caused the prices to go up, that's gotta hurt you. So it remains to be seen if people will get that message, but this is a disaster in a lot of different ways. And with that said, I think that we have 1 minute. I'm gonna read a comment or two. Neil Whittington says in the super chat, at least our Senator Chris Murphy is hitting back. I didn't see, was Chris Murphy the person that was like they should take back the pardons for the January 6 people to show they take political violence seriously? I don't remember, maybe that was him. I'm not exactly sure. By the way, ironically, a lot of those people who are pardoned are now calling for civil war. So the people who are gonna go to jail for political violence and were let out by the president are now so angry at an act of political violence that they're calling for political violence. I don't understand the irony of the time that we live in. If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog that is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?